Hello，Icon 的读者，大家好，我是 Mandy， 我是 RuMa 酒店的总厨。今天很高兴、很荣幸，是可以跟 Icon 的读者大家一起分享我的过去的经验和我的故事。Honestly, I don't know. I wanted to be a chef when I'm young. It's just because I need to get a careers after I graduate from my SPMs. So I need to get a studies diploma, and this is how my father want me to be professional in something like doctors, lawyers, all these professionals, and I refuse to have that. So he even convinced me to have just study some engineering course that is more easy. But for me, that's not what I'm looking at, and I still don't know what I want when I'm 17 years old. So I was thinking to be a chef could be something I can escape from all these alphabets, all these wordings, all these sentences, because I do really hate with all the studies when I'm young. So this is how it started. I just anyhow jumped into the chef journeys, and throughout the first 3 to 4 years of my careers, it's really inspired me because there is opportunity for me to participate in the competition of Bocuse d'Or representing the country. And we are very lucky enough to win the country selection and represent Asia Pacific selections. And finally throughout the 2 years journey, it's really opened my eyes how a professional chef can be successful. It's not about cooking. It's also including how you plannings, how you organize entire kitchens, serving for 100 people or 200 people. So it's very interesting for me, and it built my curiosity. And from there, this is how I started myself. Okay, let's restudy again. It sounds very funny to restudy because I'm supposed to be well studied already because I spent so many years for study. But the meaning of restudy again is I need to restudy again how to speak English. I was not really well in English when I was 19 years old, before 19 years old. And I forced to restudy again because I work with all these chefs that is Europeans, and I don't have any opportunity to speak English or Hokkien or Mandarin with them. That's how I have to restudy again with all these words, wordings, everything through the Besta, the dictionary Besta during my generations. I'm not sure if you all know about my generation's Besta. So it's a kind of a dictionary Besta, dictionary you can translate into Mandarin. So this is how I study again, be a chef. And it was very lucky for me that I had the opportunity to work with so many chefs that is willing to teach me. Of course, the journey was very tough, but I do enjoy because I see that the progress of the career of mine, it does change a lot from the last 16 years. It's always very challenging when we want to create Christmas menu, because every year we celebrate Christmas, just like Chinese New Year, Ramadan, everything is the same. But how could we make ourselves unique compared with others? So this is always the difficult part, and I would say that I'm very lucky enough to have my team work with me together to do all the R&D. The menu was planned almost 3 months back for the Christmas menu. So the inspiration is very easy. It's always when I come up with menus, the first thing of me is the ingredients. And we don't really celebrate Christmas here like many years back, because we are not really a culture of celebrating Christmas, where the culture of Western moved to Asia. That is how it started. And it's not easy for us as a chef because normally Christmas falls in winter, and you get all the winter vegetables that is more seasonal to cook during the Christmas. But in Asia, especially the weather in Malaysia is pretty warm, so it's very hard for us to create something the traditional Christmas menu. So for what we do is normally we based on the seasonal products that we can get within our country. I try to get more produce within our country or nearby our countries to come out with the idea, the taste profile that is more similar, that we can have it during the winter time. So I'm very lucky enough, all my team was really work out with me since the last 3 months and come out the menus. I mean, there's a lot of favorite moments I have with RuMa. I would say I do really appreciate the free hands that given to me to create the menus from what are the guest angle needed. So it does help a lot for me to do something that is more flexible creativities with the requirement of the guest, because every of the guest profile have different taste buds, even including myself and yours could be different. So, and this opportunity was given to me to do the menus based on guest expectations, requirements, and also we do have a fixed menu in our a la carte menus. But in the same time, in atas, we do have a secret menus. Don't say secret, sound very scary. We do have a chef menu as well, and guests can come based on their budget, based on their requirements, and we do creativity menu for them based on what the guest expectation. Somehow we did do like some things like Malay menus for guests, Western or Japanese style. So it does bring some space for me to do my creativity and R&D as well. My own cooking style changed a lot throughout the last 16 years. It was started as very French, very traditional French, and then I moved a little bit to Italian cuisine. I do move a bit to Portuguese cuisine and the steakhouse. So the first 10 years of my career is about learnings, to absorb all the taste profile from each chef. And now the last 4 years, I would say, for the last 4 years, I slowly build my own characters of my cuisine or my taste profile. My characters of my food, I always like to be more refreshing, more light, not too heavy. And it's very challenging when we create a food that is very strong in the taste profiles, and you overcome all the food after you have. So I like to have something light and refreshing, and also it become like a cleanser for you. So you don't have to, like, you know, when you have the first dish or second dish, you won't be feel full, and that's an opportunity for me to like create a cleanser for you in my dish. So I always like something that's more light and fresh. Of course, I do love something that is more in heavy cooking, but that will become to very end of my cuisines. So my style is more a little bit like a Japanese Nordic style. And recently, it sounds very funny, I do really interest in Malay cuisine. As a Malaysian, it's very unique. We have a good food surround us with Indian food, Chinese food, Malay foods. And in terms of our Chinese food, we got tons of cuisine, like Hakka, Cantonese, Hokkien, all these cuisine that is surround us. But when it's come to Malay cuisines, it's very new for me. I don't know anything about Malaysian Malay cuisine. So I started learning about Malay cuisine on the last 4 years when I back to Malaysia. I do really enjoy the cookings of Malay cuisine, and I think the opportunity of Malay cuisine could be another step higher to be recognized by others. And somehow, I never stopped growing or learning. The last 4 months, I went to a house of my friends that is Indian, and they teach me how to do thosai from the scratch. And it's something like I feel like I don't want to stop learning, and I think the character of my profile will be keep on changing like from time to time based on how I've been learned with different people, but always like I will prefer to remain as light and refreshing for my cuisines. I think food trend does maybe last for 3 or 4 years. It won't be a long sustain for the industry. It might be a trend that people will enjoy right now, and it won't be last long, and it's not healthy and sustainable for the industry. So I will still prefer something that is more sustainable, that in long term that is prefer enjoyable comfort foods, or something that is more easy to adapt by the cultures for at least 8 to 10 years. Everyone is talking about food trend and what we're doing, but from what I angle looking at it, like the trend will be just last for 3 to 4 years, and then it will get forgotten. And it's very sad, you know, like if a restaurant been open like for because of this trend, it will get kicked off after 3 or 4 years. So it's something very sad when we see these scenes, and I do see the opportunity of the sustainable restaurants. It will be more healthy. Like for example, I always say the Chucha restaurant is always sustained no matter how many years. Even like a Chucha restaurant that my late grandfather went until now is a 4th generation that from our family visit. It was still very sustained that everyone affords to have that, and it's a comfort food. But of course that is not the strength of my cuisines. My strength of cuisine will be more into Western style, which I hope to have this in my life, to have something that I can cook something to all the Malaysians in more affordable prices. My plan for 2024 is more unique for me, that I wanted to have more. I see a lot of young talent in the market. It's a lot. And I do see they are missing someone to lead them, to guide them, to be a good chef. So my plan for the 2024 is I wanted to create more and more talents to present their skill on table, rather than let them hiding beside the kitchens. I realized that, including me myself, I like to hide inside the kitchens. I like to, but after I moved to the KL markets, like it has to be more front of the house to communicate with more people. And I think this could be a skill to chef that always hiding behind the kitchens to convince the guests to tell the guests about the story, the food that we create for them. It would be more easy for us to tell people the dish behind. There's a lot of story that is contained in the dish that always the client, the guest might don't know. So I want it to present on the table to be get recognized or appreciated by the diners who have the food. So hope to see more and more young talent to present their skill on the table.